So in psychology, obviously, one of the biggest differences is sexuality and sexual behavior, and that's been established for decades through research done by David Buss in evolutionary psychology. And when we're talking about that, sexual differences, it's just differences in sex drive, how many sexual partners we want to have over a lifetime, how engaged we are with short-term versus long-term mating. And men and women overlap in a lot of these areas, but there are differences on average. And then a particularly interesting area is personality psychology. So women tend to be, on average, more agreeable than men. And that makes sense from an evolutionary standpoint, because to be agreeable means to be a little bit more averse to conflict. It would be adaptive in the situation where you're looking after young children. So to be agreeable means that you're a little bit more easily exploited. And anyone who's observed mothers with young children knows that young children love to exploit their mothers. And so it would have been adaptive for women to develop a more agreeable personality on average. And but agreeableness, I think, the difference in agreeableness explains a lot of variance that we see in occupational preferences. So I'm an entrepreneur and I work in business, and I'm a minority when it comes to founders. So I have had an office in the Sydney Startup Hub, and I meet a lot of founders, and they tend to be mostly male. And it's easy for me to see why that's the case, because in the business world, people will try and exploit you. They will, if they see that you're making money, they'll try and get a chunk of it. They'll try and exploit you. They'll try and cut a deal that is not in your favor. There's a lot of zero-sum activity. And it's easy for me to see how someone who is more agreeable than me wouldn't thrive in that kind of environment. So I understand, like from my point of view, it's understandable why there aren't more female founders, for example.